particular among children, is fragmented, uncoordinated, and incomplete, necessitating the establishment of a national patient registry that captures accurate demographic, diagnostic, and treatment information to support planning and service delivery. Honorable members, the petitioner states that donations of clotting factor concentrates currently received are inconsistent and insufficient, providing only 30% of the required factor levels for the 1,265 diagnosed patients and children, at times forcing families to rely on blood-derived products that require hospital admission and carry risks of complications. The petitioner is concerned that the existing donation program supplying clotting factor concentrates has a 70% deficit and is expected to end within 2 years, creating a looming treatment crisis that will particularly endanger children who rely on prophylactic factor replacement to prevent life-threatening bleeds. The petitioner further states that only a few fully operational hemophilia treatment centers exist across the country, insufficient for the needs of both adult and child patients nationwide. Therefore, there is a need for more centers in all referral hospitals equipped with diagnostic machines for coagulation, testing, and supportive services such as physiotherapy and child-focused care. The petitioner's efforts to adequately address the plight of hemophilia patients and children living with bleeding disorders in the country have not yielded meaningful or sustainable progress. Honorable members, the petitioner therefore prays that the National Assembly inquires into this matter and recommend for the formal recognition of clotting factor concentrates as essential medicine for the treatment of hemophilia in both adults and children, and ensuring sustainable availability within the Kenyan markets. 2, recommend to the Minister of Health to establish additional hemophilia treatment centers nationwide, enhancement of diagnostic capacity, improved training and healthcare workers, including pediatric specialists, review of medical curricula to incorporate the management of hemophilia and bleeding disorders, and increased funding for awareness, particularly for early childhood screening. 3, recommend recognition of hemophilia as a disabling condition to enable registration of both adult and child patients with the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, and support the inclusion of hemophilia under the Social Health Insurance Fund, SHIF. And 4, to make any other further recommendations it deems fit to address the plight of adult and child patients living with hemophilia and other bleeding disorders in Kenya. Honorable members, having established that the matter raised in the petition is well within the authority of this House, and further that the matters raised in this petition are not pending before any court of law, constitutional or legal body, I hereby commit the petition to the Public Petitions Committee, but I think I've changed my mind on this. This matter is too complicated for the Public Petitions Committee. I want to refer it to the committee of Dr. Nyikal, the Committee on Health. Dr. Nyikal himself, having been a DMS, a PS for Health, and a medic of long standing, I think would understand better and deal with this matter. The committee is required to consider the petition and report its findings to the House and to the petitioner in accordance with the Standing Order 2272. So Dr. Nyikal and your committee, kazi kwenu. Yes. Yes, Karemba. It is not an assault on the integrity of your committee. I know for sure that you are not a medic, and I want to ease your burden by giving this petition to the committee that is well aligned to deal with a complicated medical situation raised here.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Actually, I was rising in protest. I actually was imagining that you are trying to belittle my committee or the abilities of the chair and the members.
Not by any means. You know I have got the highest regard for you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Maybe you can consider a joint sitting for us between the committee, my committee and theirs.
I can consider a joint sitting to enable Dr. Nyikal assist you know more about hemophilia.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. That is agreed.
Okay. Yes, Dr. Bukose.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, hemophilia is a very complex disease. It's not just a question of somebody bleeding. It's a hereditary disease that there is no clotting factors. And therefore, it doesn't mean that it can be treated even by blood transfusion. This is a disease that is treated by using what we call factor concentrates, which are not manufactured locally. They are actually imported into our country. And this petition, having been committed to Parliament, and what the petitioners are stating, Honorable Speaker, is that it is funded by donors. And the donor support is going to end in the next 2 years. That means our hemophiliacs in the country will be exposed. And therefore, I think as a committee and as a Parliament, we need to allocate money because this is wholly funded by donors. Therefore, we must allocate money so that we can be able to protect our hemophiliacs. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
As a medic, do you have any problem with the Committee on Health handling it?
No, we will handle it appropriately, Honorable Speaker. And I'm aware that even the petitioners had come to the office of the majority leader and consulted with him. And the majority leader invited me for that meeting, and we listened to the hemophiliacs. So we will be able to handle it appropriately and give it the due response as it should be. And being the Committee on Health, we should be able to provide a budget for them. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Rachel Nyamai.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me a chance to also make a comment on this important petition. It is very well researched by the petitioners. And I would like to say that the time when I was Chair of Health and the Honorable Dr. Pukose was my Vice Chair, this matter was brought, and it is time that this country, as a country, we take matters, these matters of funding our health very important, so that we are able to fund hemophilia and also dengue, fever, and other diseases that are rare.
It's called dengue fever.
Dengue fever that are rare in the country. So, Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to say that I believe that the Honorable Dr. Nyikal's committee, your wisdom is perfect, that they are the best to deal with it, together with the members of Health Committee. And also appreciate that the Honorable Karemba has been doing a very good job. Recently, we have seen very many petition committee reports being tabled. I believe that it is not that he's not able to do it, but it is because the Honorable Dr. Nyikal and his committee, with the expertise they have, they can work together and give this solution the kind of report that, that we need. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I also rise to support this petition by Mr. Kago. And let me say, Honorable Speaker, I did meet Mr. Kago and Christopher from the Hemophilia Society or Association of Kenya. And Honorable Speaker, this is one rare condition. And Dr. Nyikal, the chair of the Health Committee, and Dr. Pukose, because I'm not a health expert, when these people came to see me, I did invite Honorable Nyikal and Honorable Pukose to join me in that meeting. And when we listened to them, we were certain that there is actually a need, first, to recognize the clotting factor concentrates as essential medication in our country. Because as Dr. Pukose has said, they have, over the years, depended on donor funding.
Yes.
And you're aware of what has happened now with USAID and many other donor sources, and where it leaves people living with hemophilia. To Honorable Speaker, it's important to also establish centers for treatment of hemophilia across the country. And they will tell you, I think with the exception of Kenyatta National Hospital and Bagathi, very few other referral hospitals and what you call level 4, level 5 hospitals in the country have treatment centers for hemophilia. And many people, especially young children, die or lose their lives because first they were not properly diagnosed, or they don't have the clotting factor concentrates in the health centers that are near them. Therefore, it's important that we establish more centers to even be able to diagnose the condition and treat it in time. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, under the Social Health Authority or Social Health Insurance Fund, it is important that we recognize this as a condition that would need more support than the usual care, ordinary medical care. Because it's a very disabling condition, Honorable Speaker. When I sat with these gentlemen and listened to them, children are unable to go to school, even adults. At times you can wake up in the morning and you can't function normally. And therefore, it's a very disabling condition, and there is need to recognize it as a disabling condition so that they have further cover over and above the normal cover under the Social Health Insurance Fund, and probably even to encourage other insurance companies, private medical cover insurance companies, to give them additional cover for those who can afford to pay for additional cover with some sort of disability cover to be able to get that. Honorable Speaker, I hope Dr. Nyikal, since together with Dr. Kosa listened to them, even ahead of this petition, they will move their committee to support them and even move the ministry to allocate more funds from our budgetary support to make sure that we are supporting them, just like we do with many other diseases like HIV, AIDS, malaria, and other disabling diseases, Honorable Speaker. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, let me give comfort to Honorable Karemba that, as you said in your response to him, you are not in any way taking over his work in the Petitions Committee, but this being a very, I don't know how to describe it.
Technically complex.
Specialized, technical and specialized area.
Yes.
I think it is better done by our medics under the able leadership of the former Director of Medical Services, Dr. Nyikal, yes, and a very good doctor in Dr. Pukos, and the many other doctors, including Professor Jaldesa. I know even as much as his specialties in other matters, he's a medical doctor who will be of use in this area. Honorable Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Nyikal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a very competent petition, Mr. Speaker, and very important, and we take note of it. And if necessary, we'll actually work with the other committee, because, Mr. Speaker, the petitioner has actually looked in all the broad areas of this issue. This includes very many areas, blood transfusion issues that we assist on. Now we actually transfuse people whole blood, which goes with the concentrate that the patients don't need. It also has touched the area of health insurance, and this can go under the critical care and chronic illness emergency fund. It also looks at the area of disability, which we have to look at also, and it also looks at the area of these people being part of the indigents. So it's a broad area, and we are going to work on it. We hope that by the time we come back from the recess, we should be able to table a report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Nyikal. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader Owen Bayer.
Yes. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this afternoon, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, 5th March 2026. Reports of the Auditor General on financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2025 and certification therein respect of 1. Atwana Vocational Training Center, Bondo Teachers Training College, Chepalungu Technical Training College Institute, Cherangani Technical and Vocational College, Clinical Officers Council, East Africa Skills Transformation and Regional Integration Project IDA credit number 6334, KE State Department for Roads, Fire Technical and Vocational College, Tana River, Garsen Technical and Vocational College, Health Records Information Managers Board, Itamera Technical and Vocational Center, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital, Kagwampungu Vocational Training Center, Karicho Vocational Training Center, Kenya Biovax Institute Limited, Kenya Fisheries Service, Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, Kericho Teachers Training College, Kianjai Vocational Training College, Kianganguru Vocational Training Center, Kipsinende Technical and Vocational College, Kiroone Vocational Training Center, Laikipia East Technical and Vocational College, Laikipia West Technical and Vocational College, Masai Mara Technical and Vocational College, Magarini Technical and Vocational College Kilifi, Merti Technical and Vocational College, Molo Technical and Vocational College, Mwarondu Technical and Vocational Center, Muitera Vocational Training Center, National Cereals and Produce Board Staff House Mortgage Fund, National Industrial Training Authority Staff Mortgage and Car Loan Scheme, 33 North Hor Technical and Vocational College, 34 Nuclear Power Energy Agency Staff Car Mortgage Loan Scheme Fund, Nyakach Technical and Vocational College, 36 Postal Corporation of Kenya, 37 Ruri Vocational Training Center, 38 Samburu Technical and Vocational College, 39 Theta Vocational Training Center, 40 Turkana North Technical and Vocational College, 41 Ugenya Technical and Vocational College, 42 Lindsay Prime Health Services Fund, 43 Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority, 44 United Democratic Movement, and 45 Weru Technical and Vocational College, Kilifi. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to lay.
Thank you. Next. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Rahab Mukami.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to give a notice of motion, mandatory guidance and counseling program in all primary and secondary schools in Kenya. That aware that learners in primary and secondary schools across the country are increasingly exposed to social, psychological, and behavioral challenges, including drug and substance abuse, indiscipline, school unrest, and academic and performance, noting that there has been a disturbing rise in case of sexual violence against children, including incidents where minors are abused or killed by individuals known to them, including relatives and caregivers, thereby exposing learners to trauma and long-term psychological harm. Further noting that many learners come from homes affected by domestic violence, family instability, economic hardship, and other social pressures that adversely affected their emotional well-being. Safety and concentration in schools concerned that guidance and counseling services in most primary and secondary schools remain informal, inadequately structured, and under-resourced with no standardized national framework to ensure professionalism, accountability, and effective delivery. Appreciating that structured psychosocial support, life skills, training, children protection, awareness, and intervention during formative years are critical in safeguarding learners, strengthening resilience, promoting discipline, and improving academic outcome. This House, therefore, resolves that the government, through the Ministry of Education, introduces a mandatory, structured, and timetabled guidance and counseling program in all primary and secondary schools in Kenya. Develops and implements a national policy framework providing for the recruitment, accreditation, and deployment of professionally trained school counselors. Integrate mental health education, child protection awareness, personal safety and training, and life skills development into the school's curriculum. Allocate adequate resources to support counseling services in schools, and establishes clear coordination and referral mechanism between schools, child protection institutions, and relevant government agencies to ensure effective safeguarding of learners. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You have a second one?
Yes, Honorable Speaker. I report of the Kenya delegation to the third ordinary session of the 6th Parliament of the Pan-African Parliament. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion that this House notes the report of the Kenya delegation to the third ordinary session of the 6th Parliament of the Pan-African Parliament laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 19th February 2026. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Soda.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Mumina Bonaya.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the abduction of one Mr. Guyo Lubo. Honorable Speaker, Mr. Guyo Lubo of ID number starting with 30 and ending with 40 was abducted on Friday, 19th December 2025 at approximately 1:04 p.m. in Isiolo town by unidentified civilian men driving a Toyota Probox motor vehicle. Information obtained by the family following scrutiny of CCTV footage from nearby premises indicates that the vehicle registration number is suspected to bear the prefix KDP. /25 and is currently under investigation by the Director of Criminal Investigation Office in Isiolo. However, despite the passage of time since the report was lodged, the family has not received any official communication regarding the findings or progress of the investigations, nor any information concerning Mr. Lubo's whereabouts. Honorable Speaker, the immodest nature of this incident occurring in broad daylight raises profound concerns regarding public security, the enforcement of the rule of law, and the protection of citizens from enforced disappearance. Honorable Speaker, it is against this backdrop that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. 1. The current status and preliminary findings of the investigations undertaken by the Director of Criminal Investigation into the abduction of Mr. Guyo Lubo, including verification and tracing of the suspected motor vehicle registration details. 2. The measures being undertaken by security agencies to establish Mr. Lubo's whereabouts and secure his safe recovery. And 3, the interventions being implemented to strengthen response mechanism in cases of abductions and to ensure timely and transparent communication with affected families. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Tongoyo, that statement is to your committee.
Speaker, and
When can you bring a response?
we can do the first Thursday on reception from recess.
Pardon?
The first Thursday
Okay.
on return from recess.
Thank you. Abdul Haro. Abdul Haro.
What? Sorry? What? Sorry, Honorable Speaker, I'm not...
You look bewildered. You are on the order paper
Can I have the...
to seek a statement
Let me...
on energy. While Haro is organizing himself, Lydia Haika.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request a statement from Chairperson of the Department Committee of Social Protection regarding the delayed registration of persons under Inua Jamii Older Persons Cash Transfer Program. Honorable Speaker, in 2007, the government rolled out an Older Person Cash Transfer OPTC program to provide regular and predictable cash transfer to older persons aged 70 years and above, who are not in receipt of civil servant pension. The objective of The program is to cushion older persons against poverty and to ensure their welfare. However, there has been delay in timely registration of older persons under the OPCT program, which has led to many of them not being eligible to receive the cash transfers despite attaining the required age. By a resolution passed on Wednesday, 8 March 2023, this House approved a motion sponsored by a member for Kilome, Honorable Engineer Zambia, MP, resolving that the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection to undertake continuous and timely registration of elderly persons under the OPCT program. Despite this, many older persons across the country continue to experience undue delays in registration. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee of Social Protection on plans by the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection to ensure timely registration of elder persons who have attained the age of 70 years under the OPCT program, including measures to prevent future delays. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
And on the same breath, Mr. Speaker, if you can allow me to pass my condolences to the family of Ngeno.
I will
Mr.
not.
Speaker.
Order. You are out of order. Haika, I gave this House 1.5 hours to pay tribute to Ngeno. I led a team from this House to his residence. We were in church yesterday, and I saw you singing in church. So why do you want to take shortcuts here? Chair, Social Protection. Who is the chair of the committee? Is it Alice Nganga? Any member of the committee? Yes, Honorable Koyo, tell your chair and your committee to bring a response within the first week after recess.
That will be done, Your Honor.
Thank you. Abdul Haro, are you now better organized? Give Abdul the mic.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to request for a statement regarding the status of electricity connectivity in Kutulo Sub-County, Mandera County. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Energy regarding the status of electricity connectivity in Kutulo Sub-County in Mandera County. Honorable Speaker, Kutulo Sub-County, home to Kutulo Town, has been experiencing rapid growth in recent years. The area now hosts essential public infrastructure, including schools, a level 4 hospital, sub-county administrative offices, as well as national security and government institutions. According to the 2019 Kenya Population and Housing Census, Kutulo Sub-County has a population of 72,394, spanning an area of 2,508 square kilometers, with 9,342 conventional households and 104 group quarters. Despite this, less than 5% of households in the sub-county are connected to electricity, slowing down economic activities. Kutulo Sub-County in Mandera County relies on an inadequate and unreliable electricity supply from a small substation in Kutulo, Wajir County, located 4 kilometers away. This substation also serves other distant towns like Korofarar, which is 30 kilometers away, and Karsa, which is 40 kilometers away in Wajir, resulting in frequent blackouts in Kutulo within Mandera. The erratic power supply has disrupted critical services, including healthcare, education, and security, while also stifling economic activities. Major centers like Bojigarse, Kutayu, Lehele, and Harwale remain unconnected despite electricity lines having been commissioned and tested in the last 3 years. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Energy on the following. A, measures being taken by the Ministry of Energy and Kenya Power Company to address the unreliable electricity supply in Kutulo Sub-County in Mandera County. B, plans being put in place to construct a dedicated power substation within Mandera County to serve Kutulo and surrounding areas, including Garse Sala and Dabasiti. C, steps being taken to fast-track connection of commissioned lines in Bojigarse, Kutayu, Lehele, and Arwale, using targeted subsidies to lower costs for low-income households. And D, long-term strategy by the government to ensure equitable power connectivity in marginalized and rapidly developing regions such as Kutulo Sub-County in Mandera County. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Haro. Chair, Energy.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Gikaria is in the House.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I think
where are you? I can't see you.
I'm here, Honorable Speaker. At
Here is where?
At Karori's place.
Oh.
Sorry, Honorable Speaker.
Because you normally sit where where Karani is sitting.
DM has taken. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
When can you bring a response?
In 2 weeks' time, Honorable
2
Speaker.
weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next order. Sorry, Majority Leader. Majority Leader, your Thursday statement. Your Thursday statement.
Sorry, Honorable Speaker, I was consulting with the Chair Budget and Trade. Honorable Speaker, the usual Thursday statement, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2a, I rise to give the following statement on behalf of the House Business Committee. Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me from Honorable Haika behind me.
Order, Honorable Haika and the Majority Whip, that Kamkunji is unlawful.
They can consult behind.
Yes.
I rise to give the following statement on behalf of the House Business Committee, which met on Tuesday, 3rd March 2026, to prioritize business for consideration during the week. As members are aware, the House approved the 2026 medium-term debt management strategy, which is linked to the 2026 budget policy statement. And in this regard, the House is scheduled to commence the consideration of the budget policy statement as indicated in today's order paper. Honorable Speaker, with regards to business scheduled for Tuesday next week, the House is expected to consider the following bills at Committee of the Whole House. A, the National Infrastructure Fund Bill 2026, if not concluded today, Thursday, 5th March 2026. And 2, the T Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 1 of 2023. And C, the Miscellaneous Fees and Levies Bill, Amendment Bill of 2026. Additionally, Honorable Speaker, the House will continue with the consideration of the 2026 budget policy statement and also undertake debate on the following motions, some of which are listed in today's order paper. 1 is report on the audited accounts for the Judiciary Mortgage Scheme Fund for the financial year 2011-2012 to 2021-2022. 2 is consideration of sessional paper number 6 of 2024 on the National Aviation Policy. 3, report on the audited accounts for the Commodities Fund for the financial years 2018-2019 to 2021-2022. 4, ukaguzi kwa asasi zisizo huru kikamilifu za Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki na ushoroba wakati katika Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. 5, report to the Kenya delegation to the 147th Assembly of the Interparliamentary Union IPU and related meetings. 6, report of the Kenya delegation to the 148th Assembly of IPU and related meetings. 7, consideration of a petition regarding delay in resettlement of squatters in Koibem village in Nandi County. 8, the 10th report on the audited accounts of the National Government Constituency Development Fund for the financial years 2016-2017 to 2021-2022. 9 is the 5th report on the audited accounts of various state corporations, Western Region, for the financial years 2018-2019 to 2020-2021. 10 is the 11th report on the audited accounts of the National Government Constituency Development Fund for the financial years 2016-2017 to 2021-2022, and 11th, 7th report on the audited accounts of various state corporations for the financial years 2018-2019 to 2020-2021. Honorable Speaker, most of the business prioritized for consideration next week, and indeed during today's sitting, is sponsored by committees. In this regard, I urge chairpersons of the relevant committees to be present throughout the sitting and to patiently wait to move their respective committee reports, even when the House sits until late. Honorable Speaker, if I can repeat that for the benefit of the member for Njoro, the Honorable Charity Kadhambi, and the member for Aldai, who is the vice chair of a committee. Last night, we had to skip 6 orders on the order paper.
Because the chairman were not
Because the chair of the Special Funds Accounts Committee was not in the House. And I think, Honorable Speaker, it's only fair that I name them so that they know.
Yes.
There was a chair of the Special Funds Accounts Committee who had 3 orders. The chair of the Transport and Infrastructure Committee, Transport and Public Infrastructure, Honorable GK, we dropped business last night because he was not in the House. Neither him, nor the chair, nor any member of his committee. And the chairperson, Decentralized Funds Committee, and the chairperson, Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education. The Deputy Speaker, Honorable Speaker, had to drop all that business last night because none of the chairs, their vice chairs, or any member of their committees were in the House. And Honorable Speaker, as you indicated, now with the budget policy statement being before us, even after the short recess, budget-related business will be prioritized. So chairs of committees, if your business is not considered now, you will stand out to be the losers. So be in the House. Honorable Speaker, it is expected that next week, the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning will table its report on the consideration of sessional paper number 3 of 2025 on the partial divestiture in Safaricom PLC by the Government of Kenya. This sessional paper will also form part of priority business that is expected to be considered by the House next week, alongside the Division of Revenue Bill of 2026. The House may recall that on Thursday, 19 February 2026, I implored on members representing the National Assembly in mediation committees to engage their Senate counterparts on fast-tracking pending mediation processes. Specifically, I urge the Mediation Committee on the National Disaster Risk Management Bill of 2023 and the Food and Feed Safety Control Coordination Bill of 2023 to expedite the mediation process. And that, I think, has bearing on the chair of the Regional Development Committee, Honorable Ochaks, and the chair of the Agriculture Committee, Honorable Dr. Mutunga. These are 2023 bills that are still pending in mediation because those mediation committees are yet to sit. Just as a reminder, the National Disaster Management Bill of 2023 is critical to providing the government with a legal framework for effective coordination of disaster management activities in the country. Further, the Food and Feed Safety Control Coordination Bill of 2023 is key for ensuring coordinated control of food and feed safety to guarantee the supply of safe food and feed to consumers. Finally, Honorable Speaker, in accordance with the provisions of Standing Order 42A5 and 6, I wish to convey that the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs will appear before the House on the afternoon of Wednesday, 11th March 2026, to provide a report on the status of implementation of the Interagency Technical Committee report on the review of designated hardship areas and payment of hardship allowance in the public service. Honorable Speaker, I hope those members who have been raising questions on hardship areas, be it for our teachers or the police or other public servants, will be here on Wednesday afternoon when the Prime Cabinet Secretary appears in the House on that matter. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, the House Business Committee will reconvene again on Tuesday, 10th March 2026, to schedule business for the rest of the week. I now wish to lay this statement on the table of the House. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Majority Leader. Honorable members, before the next order. Honorable Mulyungi, you are out of order. In the Speaker's Gallery, honorable members, we have Machakos Girls High School from Machakos Town, Machakos County. In the public gallery, we have Karaini Senior School from Kirinyaga Central, Kirinyaga, Kangaru School from Manyata, Embu, Muguna Aana Education Center from Taraka, Tarakanithi, Gitugi Primary School from Mathioya, Murang'a County. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Thank you. Next order.
Order number 8, the Miscellaneous Fees and Levies Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 57 of 2025, second reading, question to be put.
Honorable members on their feet, take your seats. Honorable members, I'll now put the question at order number 8. Order, Honorable Pukose. I'll now put the question at order number 8, which is that the Miscellaneous Fees and Levies Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 57 of 2025 be now read a second time. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
A bill for an act of Parliament to amend the Miscellaneous Fees and Levies Act and for connected purposes.
Thank you. Next.
Order number 9, Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable members, will you be upstanding?
Honorable members, we are in the Committee of the Whole House to consider the National Infrastructure Fund, National Assembly Bill number 1 of 2026. Honorable members, those who wish to participate in this bill, please, you may take your seats.
Clause 3.
I propose the question that clause 3 be part of the bill. Mover, please move amendment.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that clause 1 be amended by deleting the words "and shall come into operation as such a day as the Cabinet Secretary may by notice in the Gazette appoint."
Chair, we are on clause 3.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that clause 6 be amended as per the order paper. This clause 3 be amended by inserting the words "in accordance with Article 206 of the Constitution and Section 24 of the Public Finance Management Act," immediately of the words "fund." This amendment, Chair, is seeking to bring clarity to the nature of the fund being established under Constitution and statutory basis. So, Honorable Speaker, this particular amendment intends to align this particular fund with Article 206 of our Constitution and with Section 24 of the Public Finance Management Act. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
I propose the question that clause 3 be amended as proposed by the chair. I do not see any interest. I now put the question that clause 3 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 3 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a
Clause 4.
I propose the question that clause 4 be part of the bill. Mover, you have an amendment?
Yes, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 4 be amended as per the order paper. That this clause 4 is amended in paragraph A by deleting the words catalytic infrastructure, including national highways and railways network, air and seaports, electricity generation, transmission and distribution, water reservoirs, irrigation, agribusiness infrastructure, and substituting therefore with the words national infrastructure. Honorable Chairperson, this particular amendment is meant to make sure that the functions being given to the National Infrastructure Fund do not become the same as those provided for by counties, so that it aligns with Schedule 3 and 4 of our Constitution. I beg to move, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 4 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Honorable Makali Mulu.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I've looked at this amendment, and I've also looked at clause 2. I think it would be important, Honorable Chair, when you use a term like catalytic, that such terms are defined for purposes of clarity. So when I look at clause 2, Honorable Speaker, although we are not there, I don't see any attempt to define that terminology.
Please go. We are on clause 4.
That's what I'm saying. Generally, we have been here for long enough, Honorable Chair. We know divination of terms is always under 2. So even before you get there, I'm imagining this, because this word was not in the original bill. This is an amendment. How I wish the chair could tell us, because this word can easily be misinterpreted, Honorable Chair. I submit. Though if the chair can promise us that you, at some point when you go to 2, you can bring an amendment to that, to define the word he has used. That would be okay, Honorable Chair.
Chair, do you want to comment on that before I put the question?
So, Honorable Chair, I see where the Honorable Dr. Makawi is coming from, and there is no harm when you come to clause number 2 later to seek how else we can properly define this particular term so that there is no ambiguity in law.
Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 4 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 4 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
I propose the question that clause 5 be part of the bill. Chair?
So, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause number 5 be amended as per the order paper by deleting subsection 2, in the amendment that clause 5 be amended subsection 2 by deleting paragraph C. Honorable Chairperson, this particular amendment seeks to align gaps in the management of the fund to align to the Article 206 of the Constitution and to and to align with also the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 412A.
I propose the question that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the chairman. I now put the question that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I see that the Honorable Robert Mbui had an amendment on the same, and now that the chair's amendment has gone through, it means that the amendment is carried. Honorable Mbui's amendment falls. So now I put the question that clause 5 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 6.
I propose the question that clause 6 be part of the bill. Chair.
So, Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 6 be amended as per the order paper. Honorable Chairperson, this is the clause that is providing for the board directors, where we are making amendments to make sure that the clause adheres to good functions of corporate governance, to adhere to Mwongozo guidelines, and also to make sure that although we create those particular Bungozo guidelines and corporate governance issues, that they again not so bottlenecked that they will affect the operation of the fund. And also to make sure that there are still enough safeguards so that we ensure that there is adherence to our constitution.
Thank you. I believe that you have prosecuted subclause 1 and 2. I propose the question that clause 6 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that I propose the question that clause 6 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. We have a proposed amendment by the Honorable Onesmus Ngogoyo. You may proceed with your amendment.
Thank you, Chair. I wish to move an amendment that clause 6 of the bill be amended in subclause 3 and insert the word upon approval of the National Assembly immediately after the word gazette. Madam Speaker, the thinking behind this is that this is a very sensitive board and needs the nod of this National Assembly, and therefore I move this amendment so that the nominees or whoever would be appointed would be subject to this National Assembly. This, Madam Speaker, is just the correct position. And remember, this is not just any other board. This is where we are investing in as a country. And therefore, I wish to move that amendment so that, Madam Speaker, we may be able to subject these nominees to the Public Parliamentary Approval Act. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 6 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Ngogoyo. Chair?
So Honorable Chairperson, although the proposal by Honorable Ngogoyo would be reasonable for some particular boards, but remember the only reason why we have these directors, these 7 board members in the infrastructure fund, is to bring expertise. In fact, later you'll see that they only sit like twice a year. These are not board members that will run the day-to-day running of this particular fund. And therefore, just like all the other board members that you have for other entities that don't need approval by this House, I think that it would be too prescriptive and too tedious for those board members to be approved, to have to come to this House for approval. And therefore, that is not necessary, Honorable Chairperson.
The Majority Leader?
Chair, I agree with the chair and I want to pose that amendment because the constitutional principle is for state officers, not public officers, to be approved by Parliament. And there is no other board except one, which I don't want to name here for obvious reasons. But Ngogoyo named it here. And if you want to name, I can name only NGCDF that is approved by the House. No other board member, KRA, even SHA, the Social Health Authority, which we enacted the law here. There is no such other provision in the law. And therefore, would be setting a very dangerous precedent if we were to go that. I therefore oppose.
The Honorable Pukose?
Chair, I stand to oppose because I don't think many of the boards have not been approved by this House. And this is not state officers, neither are they public state officers. Therefore, I don't think it's necessary that the House approves them because they are not on any salary. They are only on allowances. And therefore, I don't think it will be necessary for us to approve.
Professor Oundo? The Honorable Member for Kaviani.
Chair, I want to support Honorable Onesmus Ngogoyo's proposal because, I mean, if you look at the fund that we are coming up with, this is a fund that will have so much money, I mean, and investing in the whole country. And the amount of money itself will even go beyond our national budget. So I think Parliament must have a say in exactly what goes on there. So I believe that it makes a lot of sense for us to be, I don't know why members will be refusing to take a responsibility of controlling resources. So I want to support that we make
We
sure
have
that
there is a point of order.
Order. Support.
Order, Honorable Member for Kaviani. There is a point of order by the Honorable Member for Entebes. Dr. Pukose.
Chair, I don't think it's true that the member for Kadiani is saying Parliament has no role, because Parliament is an oversight body, and we will also look at the audited accounts of this organization. And the PIC will also be able to look at day-to-day investment in terms of this organization. So I don't think Parliament has no role.
The chair has a point of order? Or it was the majority leader? Well, the majority leader takes precedence.
You know, we share names with the chair. Honorable Chair, you know, I like the way Robert Mbui presents presentations that he knows are not true, but makes them look true. Because he has just asserted that this fund will have more money than our national budget. Yet he knows in the bill, and he's the one who was reading for me, that there will be money appropriated from the budget. So how could you be appropriating to a fund that has more money than... I mean, even if you want to help Ngogoyo, please base your argument on the truth.
The Honorable Farah Maalim. Then I'll put the question, honorable members.
Madam Speaker, I also want to oppose this amendment. The primary function of an executive in a democracy like ours, which has got the three arms of the government, is for them to determine, decide on their priorities in terms of development. And the role of Parliament itself is scrutiny and oversight. If you're going to bring every issue that has got every development that has to be done in the country for Parliament to vote on that, then Parliament will be usurping the role of the executive itself. So I oppose this amendment, and I think the body that's constituted would be able to stand up to the position, because if you want to get a road in Marsabit, and Mbui and my many other friends here from the relatively better developed regions of this country would want to overdevelop theirs, we don't have the numbers to oppose it here.
Thank you.
Or we don't have the numbers to pass it here. So let the executive determine where the priorities are, and let this country be equalized in terms of development. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. You have really expressed yourselves on this. Now I put the question that clause 6 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Gogoyo. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The nays have it. We have subclause 4. Subclause 4. The chair, you have subclause 4. You have subclause 4 on the same. Order members. The chair has subclause 4, which he has also proposed an amendment.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that that clause 4 be amended. Honorable Ngogoyo almost got us there. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 4 be amended as per the order paper. This is where, Honorable Chairperson, the question of what constitutes an infrastructure fund or what constitutes a Catholic national infrastructure is what is being taught to be defined properly in clause 4, and therefore the committee is proposing an amendment to define
Chair,
that.
for the purpose of record, make reference to subclause 4 within clause 6.
Okay.
You may proceed.
Wait a minute, I need to consult a bit. Clause 6.
No, in clause 6, The chair is remaining just one. We did 1 and 2.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that we amend clause 6 as per the order paper by inserting a new clause 4. Honorable Chairperson, this is where we're inserting the following words, that the members of the board shall appoint a chairperson amongst the members appointed under subsection 1A. So, Honorable Chairperson, we have said that among the board of directors that will man this fund will be 4 independent directors. So this particular new amendment is to provide for the chairperson shall be elected among the independent directors. This is to make sure that the chairperson of this board shall be an independent director, to make sure that they're impartial in terms of the decisions they made on behalf of this very critical fund. I beg to move, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 6 be amended as proposed by the chair. Yes, Majority Leader.
Chair, let me support that particular amendment because it is also in line with what we already did in the Government-Owned Enterprises Act to make sure that there's proper corporate governance in all these companies that are owned by government, and including a fund like this to dispel the fear of those who had fear that Treasury will have an overbearing control of this fund's board. The board will now elect their own chair, not unlike before where they would be nominated by the Cabinet Secretary and appointed by the Cabinet Secretary, and I support.
Thank you. Honorable Makali Mulu. You have no issue. The Honorable Professor Oundo.
Chair, I support, and as I support Honorable Chair, allow me to commend the committee and the Majority Leader that at least they listened to the concerns we raised, and they have literally done justice to the bill, and we continue doing justice to the bill. May the Almighty God bless you and increase the number of and increase the number of children in your compound. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
There is a point of order by the Majority Leader.
You know, Honorable Speaker.
What is out of order, Majority Leader?
Honorable Speaker, you know, now, Chair, Honorable Undo is learning very well from Honorable Robert Mbui in speaking untruths. You know, we are legislating, Honorable Speaker. And if Honorable Undo listened, and I remember I was reacting to something that had been raised by the Honorable Makali Mulu yesterday or the day before, I did aver that those who had cared to read the committee's report, many of the issues that people were speaking to had already been covered by amendments proposed by the committee, because the committee had done a very rigorous public participation exercise and engaged with stakeholders. And all the issues actually, and I may dispel your fears, Honorable Makali, all the issues you spoke to, the public had spoken to them, other stakeholders had spoken to them, and they were covered by the amendments by the committee. And therefore, the Honorable Oundo is out of order to be saying that we are now listening, because, you know, Honorable Chair, why I'm saying we need to be careful, the things we say here. In 2024, during the finance bill, if you remember, Kenyans told us, do not amend, reject, because Kenyans did not understand the process of lawmaking. That the bill comes, goes for public participation, then amendments come. And we have a duty and an obligation, Honorable Undo, to keep educating and informing Kenyans that when amendments come, the final product is what matters, not what was. Thank you.
You know, the Majority Leader was on a point of order, so I cannot stop him. You have been mentioned. Honorable Makali Mulu. So what is out of order, Honorable Makali Mulu?
You know,
Honorable members, I would like us to make progress on the bill.
Honorable Chair, we actually want to make progress. And that's why I was saying, Honorable Chair, if anybody listened to us yesterday as we were debating, we did say the best thing which would have been done to this bill was the redrafting. And that's why I'm thanking the Majority Leader, because if you look at the main amendments they have done, they have moved to that direction. And what we are doing is we are trying to help you make the bill better. Anytime we say we want to contribute, These amendments confirm that you have listened to us. There are so many to appeal. And that's why we are saying give us a chance so that where there are small gaps, we contribute.
Thank you. You have made your point. I think that's a positive comment. May I go ahead and put the question? Chair, I don't want to lock you out. Make it quick, Chairman.
I'll make it very quick. Honorable Chairperson went to the members of the public. They cautioned us about members of parliament that are even coming to make their views to the committee. Because they say the members have an opportunity to vote for these decisions when they come to the floor of the House. So I want to say that although I appreciate the kind remarks we made by Dr. Undo and Professor Makali Mudu, the amendments we brought to this, we're bringing today, are views from the 30 counties that we visited from the members of the public. Because those people don't have a chance to come and vote for these matters at this House. So public participation is not at this House. It happens outside this House. Our work is to vote for the report made by the committee. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I now put the question that clause 6 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 6 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, before we proceed, I would like to recognize students seated in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon, students from St. Mary's Magdalene Girls from Runyenje's constituency, Embu County. You are welcome to the National Assembly to continue observing proceedings of the House.
Clause 7.
I propose the question that clause 7 be part of the bill. Chairman.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 7 be amended as per the order paper. And this is very important, Honorable Chairperson, and this matter also came from debate on Tuesday. But it's very important that, again, I reiterate what I said earlier, that this particular, just for comfort of members, this particular amendment was seeking to, the current bill reads that for you to qualify to be a chairperson of the board or a member of the board, you need to have served in senior management of leadership position for a period of 15 years. So that would have meant that assuming you completed your undergraduate at 23 years of age, like I did, and maybe worked in an entry-level job for 5 years, you'll be 28. And then for you now to go to senior management, you need another 5, you'll become 33, 34. And then for you now to have 15 years of experience in senior leadership, you'll be at least 50 years of age. But we had this being brought up in our public participation. And I want to take this opportunity to thank 2 young Kenyans who appeared before us in both Nairobi County and in Homa Bay County. One, Joyce Chepkemboi, and one, Jane Achungu, a member of an organization called We Care, which is a young people's advocacy program, many belonging to, whose many membership is university students. And they have always appeared before our committee with very serious proposals. They were the first one to point this out, to point the edges to us, and that's why we accommodated that in our report. And now we are now seeking to amend that to read that for you to be a chairperson or to be a member of the board, you have to have at least 10 years professional experience in infrastructure development, infrastructure finance, project finance, public finance, economics, engineering, risk management, or related field. This at least gives people who have had an experience of at least 10 years a chance to be board members or the chairperson of this particular fund. This recognizes that there are very many young people who are out there doing amazing things, and they don't have to be 50 years of age. They are way less than that, but they are making really shoulders, and they are captains of their field, and therefore those people have an opportunity to contribute as board members, as the chairperson of this very critical fund that we catalytic our infrastructure funds in the country, the National Infrastructure Fund Board. I beg to move, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 7 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Any interest in this? Honorable Dr. Pukose? I was trying to look to my left.
Chair, as much as I support it, you know, this is a fund that will deal with national infrastructure in areas that we are talking about: national highways, railway networks, air and seaports, electricity generation, transmission and distribution, water reservoirs, irrigation, and agribusiness infrastructure. Now, when you limit it to lawyers, people of finance, public finance, economics, engineering, and related fields. Do you mean that doctors are not qualified in this area? Because I tend to think that at times we do a law that favors maybe the drafters, because most of these laws are drafted by lawyers. So you'll find that you are putting there how qualified is a lawyer compared to a doctor in as far as infrastructure or even agricultural field
Chair,
is concerned.
Honorable Dr. Pukose, the majority leader says he would like to inform you. Would like to be informed? Yes, you may proceed, majority leader.
Honorable Chairperson, I want to inform Honorable Pukose, Dr. Pukose. This is why the law says at the end, risk management or a related field. Because you may be building a level 7 hospital, for instance, or a bioengineering facility to produce medical equipment, and that will require probably a biomedical person. That is why that other last bit is a related field. So doctors, lawyers, software engineers, they're all, even software engineers like Honorable Bowen are included in this.
Chairman? Oh, the Honorable Bayer. The Honorable Bayer was ahead of you, Chairman.
Yes, thank you. Bokose has finished, yes.
Okay, that is 22, 23, and 24. On further scrutiny, we actually notice, Honorable Chairperson, that clause 22 replicates almost word to word section 31(1) of the Public-Private Partnerships Act. And therefore, this amendment is seeking to avoid duplicity of functions. It is seeking to retain the fund for strategic commercial investment and leave the operation and development role of the PPP Directorate as envisioned by the PPPA Act. And to give an example, Temasek, Singapore's leading global government-led fund, is an ideal benchmark. It has a money to identify a pipeline of investment in sectors from various sources with feasibility study ready projects. Feasibility studies for projects for conservation of the fund and therefore just pending approval. So we do not have to reinvent the wheel. Now that we already have a state department that is mandated by Section 31(1) of the PPPA Act to carry this particular mandate, this fund can leverage on work done already by those particular fund, on those particular, that particular entity, so there is no duplication of duties, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 22 be amended as proposed by the chair. Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chairperson, I rise to support this amendment. But notably, Honorable Speaker, you know, there are people who are used to coming during second reading because you have the microphone and cameras in front of you to come speak, say things that you know are untrue, just to speak to the gallery out there and get news bites, clips. And one such person, you will not find them here today when we are doing the actual legislative work. And because, and I must thank Honorable Ngogoyo, the member for Kajiado, Honorable Oundo, Honorable Makali Mulu, because they stood here and opposed this bill. But they are here doing the actual legislative work, Honorable Chairperson. But these people who are used to lecturing people in lecture halls, now they came here and told us, oh, this fund is nothing close to the future fund in Australia. It is nothing close to Temasek of Singapore. Yet they are not here today, Honorable Speaker. And I must say, Honorable Speaker, the chair and the committee, because, you know, legislation, you must be a serious leader if you are elected to parliament to come and legislate on behalf of the people. Don't just speak in funerals, in lecture halls, in conference rooms, in hotels, running from one lecture hall to the other, lecturing people, seemingly wanting to look intelligent when you're actually not intelligent at all.
There is nothing out of order. There is nothing out of order, Honorable.
This fund, as I said yesterday, and as the chair said in seconding me, this fund is an investment vehicle. And indeed, this amendment now is buttressing that fact that this fund is like the Temasek in Singapore. It is like the future fund in Australia.
It is like South Africa's National Investment Infrastructure and Investment Fund, or the Japanese Investment and Infrastructure Fund. So let me tell those people, because they know themselves, I don't need to name names. And you know, when you are a young person and a young leader, don't copy the habits of those older leaders who have no plan, who have no agenda, who have no basis of what they say, to just appear in the National Assembly, get a clip to cut for Citizen TV News in the evening, then you think you are a hero. You are actually a villain. You are actually a failure as a leader if all you do is speak to the gallery, but you cannot be here to even legislate, Honorable Speaker. And I say that because we have one particular member who, out of bitterness, like those who are also bitter for other reasons, they should copy the Honorable Robert Bui, the Honorable Makali, the Honorable Undo. Even Gogoyo now today is doing very well. He's here legislating. I wish you could foot them for those members. I support this because this particular amendment is buttressing the fact that we are creating a national infrastructure fund that will be an investment vehicle to make investments in commercially viable infrastructural projects that we'll be able now to lift off from our budget. So when somebody stood here the other day trying to lecture us, oh, it is nothing close to Temasek. Temasek is an investment company. And you know, I had Honorable Junet telling them the other day, please don't bring your lecture notes to Parliament. Parliament is about making laws, it's about legislation. I hope they have heard me, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
And they grow up.
Honorable members, I propose the question that... It's not putting the question. I now put the question, honorable members, that clause 22 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 22, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 23.
I propose the question that clause 23 be part of the bill. Chairperson, Finance and National Planning. It's a deletion.
Yes, Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 23 be deleted. And Honorable Chairperson, clause 23. The purpose of this deletion, Honorable Speaker, is to conduct, it's the same agreement that I gave above. The conduction of the feasibility studies doesn't need to be duplicated. It has been provided for by the PPPA Act, and it has already been carried out, then it doesn't need to be duplicated, as also explained by my leader of majority.
Thank you. I now propose the question that clause 23 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 23 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 23 is amended. Since this is a deletion, honorable members, I'll not be putting the question. Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 23 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 24.
I propose the question that clause 24 be part of the bill. Chairman? Honorable Chairperson, I propose that clause 24 be deleted as contained in the order paper. Honorable Chair, again, this deletion is in line to make sure that the infrastructure fund, as much as possible, takes use of already established laws, and that is, for example, the PPA Act, Section 31, that gives particular mandates for this particular transaction. So I beg to move, Honorable Chairperson. I propose the question, honorable members, that clause 24 be amended as proposed by the chair. Since it is a deletion, honorable members, I now put the question that clause 24 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 25.
I propose the question that clause 25 be part of the bill. Honorable Robert Mbui, you have an amendment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Yes, 25. Madam Speaker, I want to propose that it reads, the Cabinet Secretary may issue government support measures to investment projects of the fund. My proposal is that we introduce the board in that decision so that it reads that the Cabinet Secretary may, with the approval of the board, issue government support measures to investment projects of the fund. My intention was just to ensure that the CS is working in consultation with the board. Thank you, Madam.
I propose the question that clause 25 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Mbui. Chairman, you have the first opportunity.
Yeah, I find the proposal by the Honorable Leader of Minority to be, again, too prescriptive and administrative. We do not need to have a clause to, or a section of the law to address the relationship between the Cabinet Secretary and the board, because there are already guidelines on corporate governance that guides that. And therefore, I oppose that amendment.
Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 25 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Mbui. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The nays have it.
Clause 26.
I propose the question that clause 26 be part of the bill. Honorable Chairman, Finance and National Planning.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 26 be amended as per the order paper. And one of the key amendments on 26, clause 2, is where the bill was saying that the Cabinet Secretary may make half-yearly reports. And you're replacing that to the Cabinet Secretary shall, because, Honorable Chair, the people shall. And therefore, the proposed amendments are seeking to correct also clerical errors and to provide for comprehensive details of which reports of the funds will contain. The information will help shed light on the operations of the fund, and thus boosting investor confidence and securing monies for the funds. One of the requirements also is prescribing how those particular reports will be tabled to this House for scrutiny by this Honorable House. I beg to move, Honorable Chairperson.
I propose the question that clause 26 be amended as proposed by the Chairman. Yes, Honorable Sabina Chege.
Thank you, Chair. I want to support that amendment. Chair, if you look at the flow of things, even from 1, the fund shall make quarterly and annual reports. So even in the second one, it is important that we say shall so that it becomes compulsory, not optional. I support, Madam Chair.
I now put the question that clause 26 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. On the same clause 26, we have an amendment by the Honorable Duncan Madenge. You may prosecute your amendment.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Chair, I propose to amend clause 26 to include that the Cabinet Secretary will make reports, half-yearly reports to this House of the fund to the Cabinet, and a quarterly report to the National Assembly. The intention here is to have full earlier disclosure in the course of the commitment of the funds and projects, as opposed to the normal disclosure to Parliament when everything has already happened through the reports of the Auditor General.
I propose the question that clause 26 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Duncan Madenge. Chairman.
Honorable Chairperson, in terms of the flow of activities and approvals, remember by the time we are coming now to these particular reports or particular plans, this House has already approved the investment policy. And that investment policy cannot be implemented without the approval of this House. We must also be careful not to be too overreaching or the mandate of the executive, because our role is to oversight. So if you have the one now to approve every stage of implementation, then we become party to the decisions of the executive, whereas our role should be to oversight the decisions of the executive, since we already approved the investment proposal.
The Honorable Morungara.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, Chairperson, The role of Parliament is actually to oversight what the executive does. And we can only oversight where an action has been taken so that we are able to weigh it against the principles set down. Every 3 months, then this board will not be able to work. Let us have annual reports as is norm of this House. We will look at them, and where the executive has done anything contrary to the law, then this House has the power to take action. I therefore do not agree with that proposal.
The Honorable Beatrice Elachi.
No, Chair, while I want to agree with the Chair, but I want us to think through. You can see how SHA is really pushing us. And sometimes it ends up eating us in this House. So this is a very important fund. And Chair, let us not just push because we would want it to be the way it is. Let us think through, because in the end, Parliament again will be brought in with all the issues we've had. So I agree with Madenge, but we just need to see how to reorganize it, to have it better. Chair.
Honorable David Boni.
Chair, thank you very much. Chair, as a member of Finance Committee, this is something which we really discussed. And, you know, we are talking about multi-billion projects, not a small projects. Let's say, for example, we are doing an airport. Do you want a report on a quarterly basis on construction of airport? I think that is too much. So I think annual reports are more adequate than a quarterly report. Thank you.
Last one, the Honorable Russell. Last one.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I am opposed to that amendment. One, you cannot attempt to micromanage the big projects. Secondly, if you are going to say that a committee will be getting maybe a quarterly report, monthly report and all that, then inevitably it is as if you are going to be part of that project. For that reason, let us look at just the annual reports. Thank you, Chair.
I now put the question, honorable members. Robert, Honorable Robert Mbui.
Thank you, Chairperson. You know, Chairperson, I've listened to the
I had said that if you want to participate in this, you will go to the intervention button.
Oh,
this
sorry,
table
sorry.
is a bit high, so I'm not able to see where you are seated.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I've listened to the Honorable Duncan Madenge, and his proposal is a beautiful one because it gives power to this House. One of the arguments we had was that we are not getting enough parliamentary oversight over this fund. Now, his proposal is that his proposal, which is a very good one, is that we get more powers as a House. Now, I'm just wondering, what is the harm in this House being able to oversight? Oversight is not just waiting until things happen. Oversight is ensuring that whatever is happening, we are aware, we are in the know, and we are able to accept or reject. So, Madam Speaker, I support this proposal, and I think I want to urge members of the other side, please, let us legislate together. Let us make something better for ourselves. Let us give ourselves power. Don't take away power. It is time for us to take power.
Honorable members, I'm tempted to put the question, but since the chair's hand is up, he'll be the last one.
In the explosion.
So Honorable Chairperson, I want us to be realistic of the work that this Honorable House does. I want us to look at how even behind lagging we are, in even our mandates in our respective committees. And second, Chairperson, now that we're speaking to this, we've had discussions with several CEOs and several heads of parastatals and their board members, where board members tend to have weekly or bi-weekly meetings in those particular entities. So again, if you have to bring this here every quarter for approval, Honorable Chairperson, these projects will never take off. I don't know, Honorable Chairperson, these projects we could, if you are very lucky, we could probably do 1 or 2 in a year. That means we will be required to bring reports here that have not even any merit, Honorable Chairperson. And that's why we rejected that particular.
Thank you. I now propose the question. I now put the question that clause 26 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that by the Honorable, let me take that again. I put the question that clause 26 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Duncan Madenge. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The nays have it. The first one was a division. I now put the question that clause 26 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 27.
I propose the question that clause 27 be part of the bill. Chair?
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 27 be amended as per the order paper in subsection 1 by deleting the word make before adding the word publish. So that would read that the Cabinet Secretary shall publish and publicize on the National Treasury website and all that. So the Honorable Chairperson, this amendment is seeking to correct these clerical errors and to remove redundancies, since we already acknowledge the role of EACC on matters of anti-corruption. I don't have to repeat that as repeated in subsection 2, therefore deleting paragraph C.
I propose the question that clause 27 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 27. I now put the question that clause 27 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. We have another amendment by the Honorable Duncan Mathenge. You may prosecute your amendment.
Thank you, Chair.
Please do not give him time to make a decision on whether he wants to proceed.
Yeah, I am proceeding, Chair. My work in this house is to contribute to legislation. Honorable Chair, once again, transparency and public scrutiny by citizens of investment, the right to information, and also being able to track how taxpayers expend taxpayers' funds are being utilized.
I would like you to just go direct to the amendment. Do not debate.
I propose that clause 27 of the bill be amended in subsection 2 by inserting the following new paragraphs immediately after paragraph C. The infrastructure projects under the fund, E, procurement documents and contract awards issued, C, contractors and beneficial ownership information, and C, payments made and progress of the projects.
Yes, Majority Leader. Why don't I propose first? I propose the question that clause 27 be amended as proposed. Yes, please. No, I can't see you people.
Yes, Honorable Chairperson, I beg to oppose. And if you know, you know. If you read the kind of things the Honorable Member for Nyeri Town is proposing, if you know, you know. Payments made and progress reports on projects. If you know, you know. We must oppose this because it is dangerous for this house. Very, very dangerous. And we must oppose. And I have said, if you know, you know. And I would advise the member for Nyeri Town not to trend along the lines he's trending. It is a very dangerous, slippery path that you are trending on. If you know, you know.
Yes, Honorable Mbui.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I rise to support the amendments proposed by the Honorable Duncan. And Madam Chair, I listened to the majority leader, and even in his own disapproval of the same, he never said anything because as if you know, you know. We don't know what he wants us to know. He should have made it clear, but the Honorable Duncan has made it clear why he wants this amendment, and I support him.
Honorable Ounda, And then Honorable Elachi, then we can...
Chair, Honorable Chair, the problem with this country is that people like selling fear. And as we always say, we have no money to buy fear, we are broke. So, Majority Leader, don't sell to us fear. We have no money to buy fear, we are broke. So, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, the intention of the amendment is noble because it needs to be full disclosure at any given time. But I don't know what I know some things.
Have you finished, Honorable Ounda? Yes, he has agreed. Okay, proceed.
You know, Honorable Ondo is a very good debater, and I like to inform him. And he knows that if it is disclosure of information, that is adequately covered for in the bill. And that's why I advise my younger brother, Honorable DMM, because he knows what I know, and I know he knows I know. And we all know. I just don't want to say it. But if he dares me to say it, I will say it, and I will...
Honorable Elachi? Yes, Honorable Ounda, please speak.
I have received the information gladly, and probably as we debate, normally, at any given time, all committees, departmental committees, are expected to receive reports on a quarterly basis on budget performance and output. Probably we need to tie up around that line so that probably as we legislate, we don't double legislate what already exists. That's why I said nobly it's a very good idea, but we need to discuss and see how best to put it to avoid over legislation. Thank you.
Honorable Elachi?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this will tie us. I think that amendment of my brother of Nyeri will not be a right amendment for our House, because already it will be breach of conflict. We will have a lot of challenges if we try and do such a thing. Yes, let's not have it.
Thank you, honorable members. I now put the question that clause 27 be amended as proposed by Honorable Mathenge. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? Thank you. The nays have it.
Clause 28.
I've now proposed the question that clause 28 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 28 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 29.
I now propose the question that clause 29 be part of the bill. There is an amendment. Mover?
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 29 be amended as per the order paper. This particular amendment is seeking to provide clarity on the sources of funds for the fund and to remove ambiguities. And for the record, Honorable Chairperson, the monies of the fund shall include proceeds of privatization under the Privatization Act, profits for the sale of shares in a government-linked corporation under Section 87A of the PFA Act, and C, proceeds from investments undertaken by the fund. I beg to move, Honorable Chairperson.
I propose the question that clause 29 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Chairperson. Yes? Yes, proceed, Honorable Makali.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madam Chairperson. Madam Chairperson, I want to support this amendment. And this is what we were saying yesterday, that we need to appreciate that this money will form part of our public debt. I support.
Yes, Honorable Ounda.
Once again, I support, and once again, I want to ask the Almighty God to bless Majority Leader and Chair. And for record purpose, Honorable Chair, what we normally debate here is the bill as published. The committee reports just to support and widen our thinking. Asante sana, Mwenyezi Mungu awabariki.
Okay. Honorable members, I now put the question. Yes, Majority Leader.
Chair, now that Oundo keeps blessing me and the chair, I don't know, it's just being mischievous, Honorable Chair, because Oundo has been here long enough to know that the committee reports usually also serve to inform debate in the House. But this is also to allay the fears of those. You know, Honorable Chair, I'm saying that because Oundo had told us yesterday, if he has forgotten, that we should shred this bill and republish it. And I told him, if you read it together with the committee report, many of the issues you are speaking to have been addressed, including that fear or that fear that the fund could be used to borrow. And we are saying this fund will not be used to borrow. This fund is an investment fund. And I think, Honorable Oundo, I thank you for blessing me and the chair and the members of the Finance Committee. And may the Lord also bless you and guide you in all the ways that every time you speak the truth. Thank you.
Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 29 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Chairperson. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. So, Honorable Mbui, now that the chairperson's proposal has been, proposed amendment has been carried, yours falls. So let us proceed. So therefore, I now put the question that clause 29 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 30.
I now propose the question that clause 30 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 30 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 31.
Clause 31. Okay, no amendment. Oh yeah, there is here. I now propose the question that clause 31 be part of the bill.
Amendment.
Chairperson.
Honorable Chairperson, I'd like to move that clause 31 be amended as per the order paper. This Honorable Chairperson is going to provide clarity on where these funds are going to be held. Because, Honorable Chairperson, we are amending the clause to read that the bill amended by dating clause 31 and subjecting therefore the following new clause: the monies of the fund shall be held in a bank account at the Central Bank of Kenya. Because the area, as what was read in the bill, was that the amount, this is clause 31, that the bank, the remission of the fund shall cause a bank to be opened in the name of a fund and be obtained in a bank regulated by the central bank. That would mean that these monies would have been operated by a bank regulated by the central bank. And the question is, Honorable Chairperson, we don't want, for example, the proceeds from the IPPO of KPA is in excess of 100 billion shillings. And that money being held in a commercial bank, whereas we have the Central Bank of Kenya. Honorable Chairperson, we are losing in terms of interest, and this is the same money that again we go to borrow in terms of overdraft facility. So we are expressly saying that monies in this fund shall only be held at the Central Bank of Kenya, but providing a rider on 4 that the fund may operate other bank accounts in commercial banks, the name of the fund for investment operation purposes. So again, they need to pay for their office rent or for their board allowances. Then those monies then can be operated in a bank, but the main account of the bank shall be the Central Bank of Kenya. I beg to move, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you. I now propose the question that clause 31 be amended as proposed by the Chairperson, Finance and National Planning. Okay, Honorable Makalu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, even as I support this amendment, I think we need to be cautious because, you know, from July, we have moved to a single treasury account. And you know what that means. I know it's been phased out. So I think we may need to check with the treasury to find out whether this kind of fund will also belong under the single treasury account. Because when we talk about the central bank, it's okay. But when you open 4, when you say it might then go to commercial accounts. It might cause confusion.
Yes, let me listen to budget chair, then I'll come to majority leader.
Madam Chair, I didn't intend to oppose the amendment, but I'm just questioning the wisdom behind the amendment, because my understanding is that this is a fund which is supposed to attract private investment. And private investments, you cannot restrict private investments to central bank. You need to open up the fund so that it is really a fund that is operating like a private fund. If you bring government bureaucracy into the fund in terms of banking, then the possibility that you are still curtailing this fund is going to appear. So my view is that, though I don't want to oppose the amendment, but I'm just trying to think loudly that let us not bring government bureaucracy like, fixing that this fund must sit in government account. I have a background of banking, and I know that the majority leader knows that there's nothing wrong if this fund is sitting at KCB, because KCB is also just a government bank. Thank you.
Yes, majority leader, then we'll go to the chair.
Chair, the chair of Budget and Appropriations Committee is saying I know because he used to work with my wife in the bank. So he's speaking as a banker now, not... but these are good amendments, Honorable Chair, and I support, because customarily you find very many funds being managed by the national government and even funds in county governments being put in commercial banks. That money ends up staying in those commercial banks. Government gets need to borrow, probably to pay your salaries at the end of the month. They go back to the same commercial banks and borrow from the same commercial banks at an interest. And that is what the chair was speaking, or the chair was saying, that this money will be, the funds account will be held in the central bank. But that does not mean, just to allay the fears of the chairman, Atandi, that there will be no other commercial bank accounts being opened. And I say, for instance, if they need to pay their salaries or their recurrent expenditure, you can't expect that money will be held for their recurrent expenditure in central bank. They will have the leeway to open a commercial bank account. But the funds, solid capital, should be held in Central Bank of Kenya, so that even any interest earned by that money should be public money, so that we avoid also feeding. There is no other business in this country that can give you the kind of returns that banks get. And most of that money comes from the public sector. Let us keep public sector money in the public sector. And those who come in with their private equity then can open commercial bank accounts, and nothing stops them from opening commercial bank accounts. I support the amendment by the chair.
Yes, Honorable Brugara, but honorable members, I know many members have said that they would like to leave for Mwar Dikir, so we might end up losing quorum if we go on like this.
Thank you very much. There isn't particularly no problem with the first provisions 1, 2, and 3, but when it comes to number 4, it does open up again number 1, 2, and 3, because this is an investment fund. So my view would have been, but that's out of abundant caution, that the fund may operate other bank accounts in the commercial banks in the name of the fund, in respect of an investment, particular after particular. Otherwise, you open this in central bank, and tomorrow, because it is an investment fund, you move all of it to commercial banks. That is the risk that we are seeing here. Because the conjunction "and" is used in the respect of operational
Point
purposes.
taken. Thank you. Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 31 be amended as proposed. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 31 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 32.
Clause 32 has no amendments. I propose the question that clause 32 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 32 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 33.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that clause 33 be part of the bill. Mover?
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 33 be amended by inserting the words "and in accordance with Article 208 of the Constitution," immediately the words "established." This amendment is seeking to provide clarity on the withdrawal of the fund and the constitutional underpinning. Honorable Chairperson, just to bring clarity, because I think the contribution by my co-chair for budget may have given a different signal. What we just approved in the other clause we just approved is to make sure that those funds are deposited in the Central Bank of Kenya, and only money for operational purposes or for investment purposes will be transferred into a commercial bank. I think it's important that we provide that clarity. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you. I now propose the question that clause 33 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Chairperson. I think this is rather straightforward. I now put the question that clause 33 be amended as proposed. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 33 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 34.
The mover, yeah? No. Honorable members, I now propose the question that clause 34 be part of the bill. Mover of the amendment, Honorable Mbui.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chairperson. My proposal is that clause 34 of the bill be deleted. This is a clause that deals with that says that the board may, with the approval of the CS, invest any surplus funds in government securities. But Madam Chair, looking at the situation and noting that a message has come to this House telling members how to vote, I want to drop that amendment because it will never see light of day.
I will not take note of what you have said. I will just proceed to the voting. Honorable members, I now propose the question that clause 34 be amended as proposed. The members will be at liberty. Oh, you've dropped it. Okay, so there's no amendment. I now propose the question that clause 34 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 34 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 35.
Clause 35. I now propose the question that clause 35 be part of the bill. Move of the amendment.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 35 be amended as per the order paper. Honorable Chairperson, clause 35 is amended to. The proposed amendment of clause 35 is seeking to provide clarity on the annual estimates of the fund in accordance with the Constitution and in accordance with the Public Finance Management Act. In short, Honorable Chairperson, all the operations of these funds, including the expenditures and the incomes, will have to follow the rules as per the PFM Act in terms of their preparations and their submission to this House. I beg to move, Honorable Chairperson.
I now propose the question that clause 34 be amended as proposed. 35, sorry, let me repeat that. I propose the question that clause 35 be amended as proposed. I now put the question that clause 35 be amended as proposed. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 35 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 36.
Clause 36 is a proposed amendment. Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 36 be part of the bill. Mover of the amendment.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 36 be amended as per the order paper. This is also, Honorable Chairperson, to reiterate that this fund will still be subject to the Public Audit Act, and therefore there is an express provision that their financial statements must and shall be audited by the Auditor General. But Honorable Chairperson, if you remember last year, we passed an amendment to the Public Audit bill, to the Public Audit Act, that reduce the period for submission of financial statements to the Auditor General from 4 months to 3 months. Therefore, this particular amendment is now aligning to Section 47(1) of the Public Audit Act, Cap 412B, and also with our constitution that requires that all public funds and all public accounts must be subject to audit by the Auditor General, and they must submit their financial statements to the Auditor General within 3 months after the end of a financial year.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. That is self-explanatory. I now propose the question that Clause 36 be amended as proposed. Yes, Honorable Majority Leader.
Chair, I don't need to add anything much on this, but I support. But also to say, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, remember when we moved this bill the day before yesterday, I emphasized on this point that this fund is subject to the Public Audit Act. And this amendment is improving the bill in the sense that the bill had required that the financial statements are sent to the Auditor General 4 months after the end of the financial year. The committee, as we said in debate, and the chair mentioned it, had proposed an amendment to reduce that period in line with the amended Public Audit Act from 4 months to 3 months. That gives Parliament the opportunity that some of us were saying that we will be denied to oversight this fund. Because 3 months after the end of the financial year, the Auditor General has the books, finishes with the audit. That audit comes to our public accounts and public investments accounts committees, and we do our work now as oversights of this fund. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I now put the question that Clause 36 be amended. Was someone calling? Yes, Honorable Ounda, I thought you're happy about that one.
Yes, of course, I'm a happy man today. And once we finish, I'll carry the chair. We'll go where we normally go. I'm a happy man today. Chair, I just want to emphasize the point. And the point I want to emphasize is the timelines for submission of the audited reports and the timelines taken to review the same by the National Assembly. You remember there has been a court case that has made very far-reaching judgment in respect to the timelines. So I just urge the National Assembly to do all that we can to make sure that the audit reports that we submit here are updated and are as current as they can be. Thank you for the amendments.
But I think following that lawsuit, it was actually, they've speeded up the work of the various committee, and the clerk has given them ample support for them to be able to make it on time. So I don't think we still have that mischief anymore. It's already been mitigated. So allow me now, I now put the question that Clause 36 be amended as proposed. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that Clause 36 amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 37.
I now propose the question that Clause 37 be part of the bill. I now put the question that Clause 37 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay?